Everybody's been running around. I did a 16-mile walk last night for suicide prevention. People have been organizing things. People have been traveling. Why don't we just take a deep breath? Take a deep breath. Let it out. Yes, I do yoga, but don't tell anybody. Because what we want to do right now, we want to do a celebration of Michael B. Easterling. As my old man said, content without context is pretext. And Chaplain Easterling and I talked about that. We didn't really know what it meant, but I have to give you a little background. Why am I wearing a West Point shirt? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about, I call him Chaplain Easterling because when I was a kid, he was Chaplain Easterling. Everybody called him Mike. Even here, I'd show up and I'd say, I'm here to visit Chaplain Easterling. And downstairs, they didn't even know who he was. But for me, he's Chaplain Easterling. So in 1967, my father was a chaplain at West Point, and he hired an assistant chaplain. And that was Chaplain Easterling that came in. And I have 4 sisters and no brothers. And I try to get away from my sisters as much as possible. So Chaplain Easterling came in 1967. I was about 7 or 8 years old. And the best thing about when he came in was not his preaching skills or anything like that. He had 3 boys. And the 3 boys were just about my age. Mikey, whose nickname was Mickey. Scott, whose nickname was Skeet. Raise your hand right there. And Scott, I hate to say it, you were my best friend growing up. If we could get it open. Yeah, right. And then we got Jimmy, Jinx, right there. I was Repeat. And I have the record for staying at Chaplain Easterling's house 5 nights in a row. And we had a lot of things, and like Jerry said, he was a god to me. He came in, and my father said, well, he's a good athlete too. And coming to West Point during the Vietnam War, the other assistant was an All-American at Duke, track star, and Chaplain Easterling came in. I'll never forget all the times that my father was talking about Chaplain Easterling. He scored 54 points in a basketball game. I don't know if that's true or not. He was a soccer star. He got the ball as a goal and he kicked it and it went in the other goal. I don't know if that's true, but whatever, I heard that. And during that time, it was during the Vietnam War, it was a tough time at West Point. And there was, and I'm hearing this through my father, I confirmed it later on with Chaplain Easterling, is there was a conscientious objector at about 68, 69 at West Point, which was a very tough time. And Chaplain Easterling backed him. And I remember he talked to my father, and my father backed him. And he got him on the right path, but he bucked the system, Chaplain Easterling did, which was a great thing, and I remember that immensely. The other thing that probably people don't know, at West Point, the cadets would come down. And it was mandatory chapel up to 1972. So all the cadets had to go to church. Well, Saturday night, the night before, they'd go out and tie one on. They would still show up at church. And they would come down 4 abreast. We were just talking about that with Susie and Scott. And they would sing Onward, Christian Soldiers, and never miss a beat or anything like that. And then one time, Chaplain Easterling got up there and started preaching. And he looked at all the people, and they had red eyes. Maybe they were thrown up in the balconies, who knows. But he said, amen. That's all he said. And he left. He didn't give the sermon. It just, that is Chaplain Easterling at the time, which I thought was great. So growing up, I had all the buddies there. Chaplain Easterling played the guitar. Remember that? Jimmy and Scotty. And I just, for him, I guess he was my idol. And I spent a lot of time at Easterling's house. And then after that, it's funny, there was 1990, there was a peace march in the first Gulf War. My father and I went down there just to check it out. And sure enough, there we saw Jerry and Mike marching in a peace march. And Mike had a blue jacket on, and all of a sudden my father and I joined him on this peak because we wanted to talk to the Eastlings. So that was a lot of fun. And then Chaplain Easterling married my wife and I at West Point, baptized our kid, kids, and then also married, I talked to my sister, confirmed it, married Julie, and we think Marie, but I couldn't get hold of her in London. But he was always there, ready to go. And then in 2016, we start not growing apart, but life continues. I started working up here during the week, 1 block from here. I moved into 57th and 1st. And I'm going over to one of these places. Maybe it was, the neck massage, maybe it was a pedicure or manicure. I wouldn't admit it if it were, but don't tell anybody. And all of a sudden, there's Chaplain Easterling, Mike Easterling with the cart right there. And he looks at me and goes, repeat, just like that. It was God's gift, and it was great because for about 2 years during the pandemic, very tough times, but if there was extra food here or something like that, I always had the opportunity to come over here, and it was great. And that's when I could say Mike was my friend on that. But he had at West Point, it was great for him there for 7 years. Cadets loved him. I just wanted to throw that out before we get into the whole program. And now let me go ahead and introduce Pastor Susan Sparks, right there. And I talked to her a little bit earlier. She's a comedian, and you still are a comedian, aren't you?
Oh, some days.
But no pressure, you give the prayer, maybe a little joke here and there. But she told me that she's actually not on tour, but you do go out with a Buddhist or a Catholic and an Islam imam type thing? Okay, and I thought that was interesting. And you were a lawyer, and Mike hired you over at Madison Church, and he changed your life. And that's when you went into the ministry, I believe. Anyway, I think you have an opening prayer. Come on up, please.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all.
Yep, Mike and I share a little bit of a southern accent. Thank you, Peter. As you heard, my name is Susan Sparks. I'm the current pastor of Madison Avenue Baptist Church, and I was hired by Mike Easterling to come in right behind him when he retired. I can honestly say up front, I would not be in ministry but for that great man. He taught me about courage. He taught me about compassion. He taught me just to be exactly who you are at all times. And I think most importantly, he taught me to lean into life with a heavy sense of humor. And I'll just, before this prayer, I just will share this quick story. I was a brand new student. Mike took me on a pastoral care visit for a member named Ilsa Freund, who some of you may remember. Ilsa was one of our senior and most difficult members. And Ilsa was in and out of consciousness, so we go to Cabrini. Ilsa's in her little bed, crucifix on the wall, and all of a sudden she starts rolling around going, don't leave me, I'm so frightened, please be with me. And Mike, of course, just jumps in and grabs her hand and says, Ilsa, I'm right here, I'm not going anywhere. Ilsa sort of wakes up, looks at him with sort of disgust, and goes, I'm not talking to you. And she points at the crucifix and I'm talking to him. So after a moment of shock, Mike goes, well, then go on, talk to him. I'm gonna go grab some lunch. There was always joy to be had with Mike in all circumstances. And so I thank Jerry for asking me to offer and start us off with a prayer this morning. I'm honored to be part of this celebration. So I want to offer a prayer to start us off. And the end of the prayer is actually words from a poem by Henry Scott Holland. Years ago, it was read at the memorial for Texas Governor Ann Richards. So let us pray. Lord, we come together and ask your blessing today on this celebration of our beloved Michael Easterling. Mike was a husband, a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a neighbor, a mentor, a pastor, a friend. And because of knowing him, we are all better people. Mike was a lover of music, brisket, and the Almighty Lord, not necessarily in that order. He was a warrior for justice, He was a protector of the underdog. He was a man who always had time to sit, always had time to listen, always had time to be present for someone who was lonely or in pain. Mike made us laugh. Mike made us think. And Mike made us all feel less alone. He changed every single person sitting here today. And our greatest hope, Lord, is that you give us the strength to carry that change forth. While our hearts are broken over the physical loss of this great man, we know his spirit will always be with us. For in the words of Henry Scott Holland, death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away to the next room. I am I and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. I am but waiting for you for an interval somewhere very near, just around the corner, and all will be well. Amen.
Okay, next I have the pleasure of introducing Patrick Connell. And he came up here a lot with Jerry. It was spelled with a G, as the J. And you and Mike became very good friends. And Mike thought of you as, he told me, a very good friend, but he also thought you were just a great person. And he told me the times you used to go in Sutton Cafe down here and talk for forever. And then you were the true north on that. So do you have a couple words you want to say?
I do. But a little like Peter said, some context first. I am in the store for an unusual circumstance. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm here for an unusual circumstance that both Mike and Jerry, and Mike, Jerry, and me, our relationships actually started on the same day, at the same time, in the same place, on New Year's Eve. That's where they really started. Now, there's two backstories to how it got to that. They weren't very long. And one of the backstories Mike wrote on how he met Jerry. So I was going to read Mike's story of how he met Jerry. I have a short backstory, and then I'll tie it all up. So this was written 20 September 2000, 7 a.m. He's always an early riser. In his study. He says, I remember when I first met Jerry at the community lawn sale in Alexandria, Virginia. At the Alexandria lawn sale. Carol was with me. I bought a Mexican cake from Jerry and gave it to Carol. No comment. Carol didn't want it, so we exchanged it for a couple of backhanded sets, and that was it, or so I thought. A few weeks later, I saw Jerry downtown after work one day. We were both bumping around a car shop. She shopped for a while, walked out, and then went to a bar nearby. I followed her into the bar, gave her a moment to find her seat, and then took a seat by her. I didn't say anything for a while, then started to make small talk. That was the beginning of it all in that bar. The meeting at the lawn sale of the car shop bar approximately 17 years ago, the most fulfilling years of my life. After Jerry and I met, I began to have this strange feeling that we were destined to be together. When I met Jerry, I had that feeling that I was home again. And that feeling has only gotten stronger as the years have passed. I'm not sure why I was put in Jerry's life, but I know why she was put in my life. My backstory was not quite as romantic, but they both came to a point where they lived. I was a recently minted single person after a recently long marriage. I was wandering around aimlessly, as they called it, walking wounded. I met Jerry with a J. Hi, Jerry, with a G tied down the front. At my mother's house on Christmas Day, about 2 months after I was a single person. And we went to dinner, and about halfway between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve, when Jerry was out dancing, and she had noticed a spark between my Jerry and I during Christmas Day. And so she said, she kind of goaded her into, oh, it's 11 o'clock at night. Come on down, we'll go dancing. So she did, her urging. I was in bed with my fatigues egg on, my reading glasses on, reading the book. And she said, oh, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm just buttering about the house, doing all the normal things. He said, we're dancing, you want to come? It's like, sure. So that was the fastest shower, the fastest ride to Old Town I've ever made. Thankfully, it was early enough in the decades that there was not all the radar crabs out there, so I got down there. That led to New Year's Eve. The second time that we had met, they had a few dates already. And so, and in New Year's Eve, it was also a little bit unusual in the fact that Mike and Jerry had a night date. But Jerry, being magnanimous, feeling sorry for walking around welcoming a person, said, so Jerry and I came, and then she bought a rosemary. And Mike was, okay. I think you probably had a very small romantic party in mind, and it turned into be a bit of a gag. But we went to a party afterwards, and then at midnight, that was sort of the end of that party. So we kissed as the ball went from New York from the top to the bottom, and then they continued on with their evening, and that moment on, we have both been a couple for the last 42 years. Jerry was a good kisser, wasn't I? And so we carried on from there, and we had continued to be in contact all this time. And it always seemed like Mike and I were on the same page at the same time. And these last 10 years, for example, here in New York, we still come up and spend New Year's Eve with Mike and Jerry, just like we did in the beginning. So there's one little footnote to this story that I don't generally tell. Jerry prompted me to do something. Is that so 6 weeks later, it's Valentine's Day, and Mike was writing lovely poetry. I was at Jerry's house that evening, and I wrote up on my Valentine's gift for her. I was coming from 10 or 11 years of marriage, and when I noticed that in the few weeks that I was here before, when we were having orange juice and toast in the morning, she put the bread into the oven, the big oven, to toast it. It seemed kind of strange. I was thinking about the bills and how long it takes. That's really silly. So I bought her a toaster for Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day. So unlike Mike, who wrote poetry, I nearly ended my half of the story. But Jerry decided that I had some good raw material. And with a bit of work, she could probably make this work. So she has made it work. And in later years, as I talk to her, I say, well, how do you feel about this journey? What do you think about it? Would you ever think about divorce? She says, I couldn't train another man. I'm not divorcing you. So that was the end of the story now. I turn over to, where's my thing?
We're gonna wait.
You want to wait for the hamburgers? Okay. Well, the hamburgers are due any moment. We're taking a break.
I told them, just, don't do one after the other. Let us have a break from the speakers. And another thing is, he said that he got Jerry a toaster oven, but he forgot to mention that Mike wrote a beautiful love poem to me for Valentine's Day. Had it engraved in gold, 18 characters. It was framed in gold, and he gave it to me for Valentine's Day. And Jerry came over and said, guess what Patrick got me for toaster oven. So we've been kidding him every year. So if you run into him, just say toaster oven.
One of the things I told you because I hoped that story would die. I've since made up for it, I've learned.
I won't let it die.
But somehow, everybody seems to know, so I thought you ought to know too. So you understand what the same toaster oven made what it means. Short break. The next speaker is going to be a Diana Beyer and a Gail Spangenberg. They work.
Yeah, but we're just saying, we're mentioning Gail because both Gail and Diana were great friends of Mike. Gail, where are you? Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not gonna, we're just mentioning you because you were a great friend to Mike and helped him in the office so many times. So thank you, Gail. And thank you.
Thank you, Gail. I think we're off script. I want to come up here and take over.
Thank you so much. I was director of New York Theater Ballet and New York Theater Ballet School. And Madison Avenue Baptist Church was our home for 33 years. I knew Mike for 25 years at the church, and after he retired, we remained good friends. Mike was one of the most generous, caring people I've ever met. His kindness and generosity to New York Theater Ballet Company and school was absolutely extraordinary. He came to our performances, made a point of getting to know every strand of both organizations. He knew most of the dancers and students, allowed us to use other floors in the building if they were available, and if we needed extra space for rehearsals, and tutoring for our lift students, and having a social worker meet with our lift mothers. And for those of you that don't know the lift program, it's a scholarship program for children living in homeless shelters and are otherwise at risk and housing insecure. So Mike invited our dancers and students to perform in the church services in the wonderful choreography by Keith Michael, who is here. Keith. He kept our rent affordable so we could offer full scholarships to over 30 children from New York City homeless shelters and public housing each year for the entire time he was pastor. Working with Mike for those 25 years was the most positive, fulfilling years in our history. Mike's caring for our work allowed us to grow and flourish and create an unusual presence in the dance field by a small school and company. So many other organizations started similar programs because Mike helped us to be pioneers in working with children from shelters and also allowed us to experiment with programming that we toured throughout the United States. All of us at New York Theater Ballet during our time at the church when Mike was pastor had a special relationship with him. And I speak for everyone when I say we will miss Mike so much, and he will always be remembered and ever present in our lives and our work. I love you, Mike. Your voice, your energies, your values all live on to make the world a better place. And now two of my students will dance in Mike's memory. Please meet Ludwika Rousseau and Madeline Goodwin, and they're going to be dancing right out here. So please look out the window.
Next, I'd like to introduce, when I was growing up, Little Susie, who was a very good friend of my sister, Molly. Right now, she's badass, from Harley Davidson. I'm a Harley guy, and I do not hold her. Susie Easterling, just, you're up with it, poem.
And you know that's Mike's daughter, his favorite daughter.
Yeah, we need to clarify that. I am the favorite. Favorite daughter. I'm the only favorite. One of my favorites too. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. And I know how much of an impact that my dad had on pretty much everybody in this room in some way or another. Whether it was through a loved one who knew my dad, or be able to read this. Is there tissue somewhere, just in case I start blubbering or something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, it's paper towel. What the heck? I don't even know why I wore makeup today. I'm wasting time. This is my dad at my wedding, so, yeah.
And one of his favorite portraits.
It is one of his favorite portraits. This is really cool because it was a great wedding. Unfortunately, it didn't last. I still hear about it. It was the best wedding ever.
That's reception.
So anyways, I'm going to read the traditional Native American prayer. O great Spirit, whose voice speaks in the winds and in the trees, whose breath gives life to all the world, listen to your creature. I am small and weak. I need your power. I need your wisdom. Let me welcome you, and let my eyes be glad, beholding the red and purple dawn. Make my hands touch all things you have made with love, and help my ears hear your voice in everything. Make me wise, that I may understand the sacred teachings you have taught. Help me learn lessons hidden in every leaf and every stone. O Wakantanka, I need power, not to be greater than my relations, but to conquer the enemy in myself. Make me ready to come to you always with a pure heart and pure eyes, so when the time comes for my life to fade away, as the sunset fades, so may my spirit come to you with honor and with action.
We're going to now move to Cat Smith.
So I'm reading an email from friends from Japan for Mike and Jerry, more so for Mike. Bear with me if I promise. Dear Mike, how are you doing in heaven? We miss you very much. We met you in the summer of 1993. You came to see Aki's dance performance at the New York Conservatory Dance in New York. You were moved to tears and you said, I want to see you dance in the church on the first floor. Aki danced on the church many times over the next few years. We talked and talked almost every day in your office. About Christianity, about Sisterhood, about politics, gender, Marilyn Monroe, and Mike. Oh, Mike, you called Fumio Master Fumio. Just like the hero of Star Wars, you called out to Yoda. The conversations we had with you are the treasure that we will cherish for the rest of our lives. Thank you very much, Mike. And just my sentiments, Jerry and Mike have been my family for the past 20 years. And I moved away, I come back, but I always see them because they're my people. And I will forever miss them. And I love you so much.
She read from a letter that two friends of ours from Japan, Aki and Fumio, who are in Japan now, but they helped us tremendously, especially Mike, and they loved him very much. And because Kat loved Mike very much, I had her read their letter, and I know she felt the same way.
Carrie is next. She is Carrie's older but younger sister. Of course, she's older there, I can't skip it.
They didn't get that.
Older but younger sister. There's a story there of a guy. That's not what the toaster So she's going to read a letter from Bob, who is his, not his son-in-law, but a long time.
His brother.
Brother-in-law.
Get it right. So, she's gonna read from her husband, who is disabled, was unable to attend, his letter about Mike. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The letter says, my name is Bob Arnold.
and Mike's brother-in-law. My brother is a minister, my sister married a minister, and when I first met Mike and found out he was a minister, I asked him if this was a sign. Mike said, yes, we need a lot of help. Because we are the same age, we have been able to communicate well because of our lives were similar, and we have seen some of the greatest changes during our lives. Cars, airplanes, communication, and rockets to the moon. We often spoke of what the future would be like if we would fit in it. I have great memories of our travel trips and times together. Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Alaska, Yosemite, and Yellowstone. Time will heal my grief and sadness, but I will always have our memories. I will miss my text buddy. Mike, I hope to see you again and ask you that you put in a good word for me. Your friend, Bob, with 1 O.
Let me go ahead and introduce Edward Hinkle.
Edward.
Oh my God. He's been 25 years of work with him, 20 years of
Jerry. I'm Edward Hinkle. I was one of the original dancers and choreographers in the New York Theater Ballet. And Mike was very modest when being recognized for his support of dance artists, and always pointed back to the previous minister, who was an arts maven that went to theater and dance performances and attended museums on a regular schedule. But enjoying art and supporting it are quite a different matter. And as Rachel Maddow likes to say, watch what they do, not what they say. Dance artists in New York City had, for quite some time, been struggling with rising rents for studio space, to the point that many had left the city. While New York prided itself on being an arts capital of the world, it has done very little in actually supporting dance. When Mike took the helm of Madison Avenue Baptist Church, he could have gone in several directions in providing services as the church's mission. And in fact, he did. But dance? To many, the arts are considered secondary and non-essential. But in Mike's mind, dancers were people too. And so, like several other churches in the city, Mike's mission became a refuge for the dance community and was a lifesaver to the point at times of acting as a counselor. First with Viola Farber's dance company, and then the Ballet School New York Theater Ballet, and most importantly, a place that Diana Beyer, director of the school and company, could provide for Margaret Crafts to continue her teaching. And I should also add, there was the Dugodowski Ballet School on the second floor, the Scottish dance on the ground floor. Many choreographers and dancers got to do their work in these studios. But Mike went a step further by integrating dance into his Sunday services. It started with my choreographing a duet for Sylvia Nolan and myself, and then the next Thanksgiving season, Jean Anderson Volpe choreographed on us It's a Gift to Be Simple for that service. After that, Keith Michael took the lead, and his vision really developed the series as an ongoing service back to the church. Mike always appeared even-tempered, but some of his decisions as a minister must have gone against his nature and experience as a business person. It must at times been an internal struggle for him to rationalize the sacrifices the church was making by supporting us. So as his friend, former dancer and choreographer, I am forever grateful to him for having provided a place for me and many others to develop and grow as artists. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, I'd like to introduce Dwayne Land. Dwayne. Good friend of Mike's. Many years really with a brief review.
Of
I'd love to introduce Dwayne Deland. As you heard, Dwayne is one of our most senior members at Madison Avenue Baptist Church. He is an incredibly talented artist. He's a dear, dear friend of Jerry and Mike. Dwayne would love to share the Beatitudes with you today. And Dwayne, thank you for reading that.
From the beautiful Matthew 25, 35, 37 come you blessed of my Father, inherit your kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you came and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. In righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when we see you hungry and fed you, or thirsty and gave you drink. When we see you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed you, our when did you sick or in prison and came to you, and the king will answer and say to them, I say to you, as much as
I can't see it, so.
Your head is in two and three. Assuredly, I say to you, if as much as you did it to one of the least of my brethren, you did this to me.
Next, we have
Me.
Jerry, the J, and the Ted. And Kat, please.
This is something I wrote to Mike, but in those days, I called him Michael, and he called me Geraldine. We were very formal with each other. And this is before we married. Actually, this was in another Valentine's Day. I gave him a romantic letter, and he gave me a romantic poem. And I don't look at that poem. But I will read you what I wrote for Valentine's Day. When Patrick gave his wife, his girlfriend, a toaster. Don't ever live it then. It's called Michael. He is young and beautiful. He shines bright. I see him lean and tall, but soft to my touch and quick to my knees. His smile mischievous at times, as he climbs his path to the secret thoughts. How often I catch him with his sensitive eyes welling up, with thoughts of what could be or the hurts that cannot be seen. He is pure and gentle, with a love that surrounds my soul, and sometimes catches me unawares. What more could I want, I ask? He has spoken the word of God more through his actions than from the pulpit. He carries his guilt to the depth of his soul. He is a friend to many, but speaks of only 2 or 3. His family comes foremost in his thoughts, words, and deeds. But he has released them of dependency to help them survive. He is cautious, yet he is the spring of life, overflowing with an optimism that continues to bear fruit. He is a step above me on this, yet he is constantly reaching for me to share his sunshine. He exhales his feelings through his songs and his poetry, through his running and strumming of his guitar, which I forgot to bring. His notebook is part of his wardrobe. You can find a part of him in every piece he writes. You will not believe he is a crazy guy by looking at him. This is my love. This is my Valentine. With love and affection on this Valentine's Day, 1985. Yours, Geraldine, and he called me Monkey. Thank you.
This is going to be a different kind of toast because this is going to be a toast.
Oh, have your drinks. Anybody who
Yeah,
doesn't have
just
a
get a drink.
drink.
I'm not going to get emotional too much here. I'm like the old school on this one, but on this toast, I want to do it for the State Department, but also the toast. I'll say a couple words for Mike, for your drink, and then afterward, lift up your glass. When you lift up your glass, think your glass is going straight up to heaven, and that's Mike, they're receiving it. So this is a moment to reach out to him personally. Toast may not be that great, but it's going to be the...
Hey, Peter, give us a moment.
Hold on. The arts, we have ministers, people coming up, we help the homeless. It just shows the variety and how many people we help. Where's that tissue? I look at him as a sportsman, and I think Jerry said it at the beginning, larger than life. But this guy had heart. He helped a lot of people. We need that today. We need it forever. People that are in service to everybody else. And that's about the crux of my toast. He had a heart. So Mike Easterling. They're here. Don't forget to raise your glass. Get it all the way down. Okay, thank you. What's next? I'm sort of lost in the program.
Actually, it's Christina that is next.
Christina.
Christina, I'm not Mike, but I'll speak up. Christina is often viewed as Mike and Jerry's Rosemary's Baby.
You stole my joke, Toaster. Where's the context on Rosemary's Baby?
She's considered our niece, because I was in the birthing room when she was born. I went to Lamaze classes with her mother, and we all called her, when she was born, Rosemary's Baby. My whole firm, you know how we love each other here?
No doubt.
Yeah, I had a firm like that in Washington DC, and when they found out Rosemary was pregnant, and I was taking Lamaze classes with her, they all supported Rosemary, and they all cheered when I went to the hospital when she was having her labor pains. And so here she is, the baby that I counted 10 toes.
Jerry helped raise.
Yeah.
And they're all still there, if you're wondering. For a little bit of context, thank you, Patrick. This is Aunt Jerry and Uncle Mike to me. My mom has had the absolute pleasure of having us years of friendship. So I have the honor of reading Uncle Mike's 3 poems, and 3 of his favorite poems. This is by Rumi. My father reason says, no need to announce the future. This now is it. Her deepest need and desire is satisfied by moment's energy here in your hand. Listen to me for one moment. Quit being sad. Hear blessings dropping their blossoms around. God. Lazoo. Susie? Lazoo?
Yep.
Okay. On love. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. Buddha, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present.
I want to introduce Scott Eastman, aka Steve. Best skier out there, kids, and the person who played Stairway to Heaven when I was a kid.
I think the idea, they're doing a memorial for my dad in that very room where we're working at just a short few months ago. He called this his office. Dad had told me on my last New York visit that he, for a while, felt like his number to go was 88. I guess he knew something I didn't know. Thought he was going to make it to at least 100. I miss him so much. I can't express. All was there for me. As we both grew older, our relationship got stronger. Such a great friend. Didn't matter what we were doing, eating out, watching a good show, working out, or shooting. We were so easy. If you're listening, Dave, thank you for being an amazing part of my life. There was a shift in the universe when you left us, Dad. I love you.
So you want to
Susie.
wait?
That's good.
Maybe it was Carrie. Carrie said, talking about nicknames. Dad had like a nickname for absolutely everybody. About absolutely everybody nickname. When my oldest daughter, Cameron, was born, we were mulling over, me and Dad were mulling over, what are we gonna call you? What are we gonna call you? Grandpa, Gramps, whatever. And he said, you can call me anything but Peepaw. Of course, that was a really bad mistake, so Peepaw was born. Everybody knows him as Peepaw. Eventually became Pete, but he had all sorts of nicknames. Pete, Dad, Big Mike, Wimpy, Chap, and I'm sure some of you in here had other nicknames for him as well, but I was his favorite. And he was my favorite, because we were our only ones, right? Only daughter. There's a picture on my desk at work of my daughter, Cameron, that Jerry took. And my dad, I have a picture of my dad in Paris right next to that picture. And in that picture, Cameron, there's another picture right after that, and I figured that out later. She was so excited. And she was excited because I was getting out of my car. I'd been at work all day. Jerry snapped it. The next picture of me bent down hugging her. And when I think about my dad dying, that's what I think about. I think about Cameron, who died in 2020, up there, and all of the people that went before Cameron. We've got my brother, Lou, we've got Carol, parents, so many people. I'm just thinking, Mark, everybody up there waiting for him. Carol probably was strong-arming people trying to get to watch it, and she was awesome. So that's what I think about. I think about gratitude, and that's what makes me happy when I think about my dad passing. We all feel a loss and a void, and he's celebrating. He's with the people that he loves, and then we're all going to see him again. That's what brings me comfort. I choose to focus on gratitude. I think about a joyous reunion. We're all feeling this tremendous pain, loss, absence, but when we think about the reunion, that's where we're all going to end up with my dad. There's no question about that. Grief touches us all in such a different way. And, so my son passed when he was 5 years old, my daughter passed in 2020 when she was 20. And since 2020, in February, every day I wake up in the morning and I just have this pressure, this weight on my chest, just missing my child and wondering how she is. And I think that's the silver lining when I think about Dad not being here anymore, is that they're up there together. And I swear to you, since then, that grief, that pain of Cameron going is lifted. I don't feel it anymore. I feel they're up together, they're celebrating, they're down and watching all of us, guiding what's happening. I'm all about angel numbers, and every single morning, 444, that's when I wake up. I have no idea what it is. Today was 11:11. It popped up on my phone. All these things, that's just divine intervention. That's them watching over us and taking care of us every single day. And I really believe that. I mean, I was fortunate to have a father who was kind, and all of you know this, kind, intelligent, compassionate, human, flawed, but accountable. And that's probably the biggest gift that he ever gave me, is accountability, being able to own who we are, and then you move on. You learn from your mistakes, you grow from them, and you working every single day to be a better person. And I think that's what my father taught me in the end. But I know everybody in here feels something. They have a hurt, pain, a loss, but I feel so confident knowing that Dad is up there watching over all of us, watching us celebrate, watching us. That's what we did at Cameron's service. We all, hey Cameron, what's going on? Because if we didn't acknowledge her, we know she'd haunt us. So there's no question about that. I don't think Dad would haunt us, but I think that he acknowledges that we're all here celebrating him in his space, in his office. Yeah, just gratitude. I feel gratitude for him. I feel gratitude for all of you, Jerry. I feel gratitude to you, because between you and his discipline in taking care of himself, moving every single day, keeping, by all intents and purposes, he should have been disabled a really, really long time ago, but he just kept going and kept going and kept going for you. And he loved you so much, and you loved him so much, and that's a true testament for what relationships really should be like. I thank you for the gratitude that you've passed. But anyways, thank you guys, appreciate you all for being here, and just.
Okay, everyone. This is our end of the break. This is our last push. A few more people to go. And then I'm sure there's dinner afterwards. Just kidding. Okay, this session we're going to start off with my wife. She's going to read one of Mike's favorite poems, Ojibwe poem.
Mark the ice.
We're over here because it's a little easier for a circumstance. So I'll turn over to
Quiet.
You can see why her and Terry are good friends.
Anyway, I want you to know what they have been working on speaking. Each time they work about the speech. I'm watching it. And I said, Patrick introduces his wife, Jerry. Courageous, best old friend to Jerry and Mike. And I thought, Mike would not say that. He would never do that. And that's why I love him. So eventually, Mike, he has something better. There's a new prayer from the Ojibwe prayer. And prayer goes, this is beautiful. Grandfather, sacred one, teach us love, compassion, and honor, that we shall heal the earth and heal each other. This Ojibwe prayer is so beautiful. And that's Mike. That was his birthday. He was so good with everything. That's why we love him.
Quickly, Ms. Laura, I met you sort of that one day that Mike went into the hospital. I was driving back to DC and I got a text from Susie. And the text said, I was just about at the Delaware border, and the text said, my dad's not feeling well, can you go see him? And then we talked on the phone, and I made a U-E, and I came back here to New York City, and I was able to spend some time with your dad, help him out, and then I had to go back to work, and then Lori, you came in that day, and you sort of saved the day with helping out Jerry and Mike on that. And then we had Lawrence, right? Who's my old job when I retired, or maybe archivist, I did your assistant. Sure. And this is, okay, come on up here and. This is good.
Okay, hi, Lawrence. I moved to the city in earnest maybe 2015, 2016, and I don't have any family here, but Jerry and Mike were kind of like family to me, and I would help Mike with his website and computer, so that the full grandson treatment. But Jerry's asked us to read a passage from.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say one thing, Jerry. Do you want me to tell them about staying at your house?
Yes, yes.
So, before I met this guy, I froze my eggs because I was old. And I had to be at the lab at like 7 in the morning every day. And it was really far from my apartment. And so I slept at Mike and Jerry's. And they would send me off in the morning as I would go and freeze my eggs. And this is this one right
We call Agnes our miracle baby.
Yeah.
And she comes visits us, and we take her. I take her shopping to TJ Maxx, and she loves to visit me. And but when she heard Mike pass, she couldn't stop crying. She really loved him. And we loved her. We loved her. She's special and always will be. She's shy.
But can we get a round of applause for Agnes hanging through?
Mike was so loving to me.
Jerry asked us to read a passage from the philosopher Khalil Gibran. I'm going to read that. Then a woman said to Gibran, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he said, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that has given you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again into your heart, and you will see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed."
Speaking of joy, here,
I am.
come on up. All the bartenders. I guess Mike had a nickname for you?
I'm sorry?
Did Mike have a nickname for you? Mushi. Come on up, Mushi.
Mike called Lydia Nadia. Nadia.
That's my nickname.
I'm not just the best bartender, I am also Mike's niece. Ironically, Uncle Mike married my husband and I on the rooftop during a heat wave on Sunset Falls Boulevard in California the day before his birthday. And it was sweltering hot, just as it is now. So I wrote Uncle Mike this birthday card September 3rd, 2013. Uncle Mike, another year older, wanted to take this time to express how much you have contributed in some ways to the foundation of the person I have become. Sometimes planting the seed and hoping it grows. That's what you've done for me. My reflections back are quick flashbacks, going to see that, or seeds to our conversations and your words to me. Just know that I do reflect back to them, and they still continue to make a difference for me. Wishing you a very happy birthday. I love you, Uncle Mike. Joy, Eddie, and the kids.
Next we have Monica, and it's Jerry's goddaughter. And I thought the world of you. And I was admired for work ethic, truthfulness and thoughtfulness, and you have a home.
Yes. And he forgot this. Okay. Monica is Jerry's goddaughter, and Mike thought the world of both Monica and Joy. He would talk about them all the time, how much he admired them. He admired their work ethic and talent, but mostly their kindness and thoughtfulness. Monica also produced a wonderful program you have in your hands. And it took us 2 weeks solid to work on it. And she had to take directions from me. She's reading from a poem, and Mike never called his poems poems. He called them sketches. Mike wrote when he would sit in Madison Square Park on 23rd and Madison. I think you guys have visited it. And he would write his sermons, 20 years. He would sit in that park and write his sermons and sketches and journals. He has his own bench there. I hope you will visit it. It's right near the Shake Shack. And I have engraved
his name, a plaque engraved there. And our family members have sat there, and I hope you will visit and you'll think of Mike.
We do this. My son. I was also lucky enough to have Uncle Mike married my husband Steve and I over 32 years ago. This was written by Uncle Mike, Vine Services, Madison Square Park. I'm not sure why a tree moved gently by the wind soothes the soul, but it does. It speaks words of comfort to the deep places and calms the inner sea crashing from the storm. If you can tell me why, the sun ray piercing through the sycamore leaves and warming my forehead lowers my shoulders and causes me to breathe more deeply, you'll be the first. After days of greenhouse heat, the cool breeze wafting through the park has the one-eyed pigeon playing, weighing operators and division managers sitting in silence, acknowledging the hollowed ground, holding on to the moment for dear life.
Brendan, you can come on up here. I gotta make sure I read word for word here. So, I had a chance to talk to Brendan ahead of time, and he knows somebody that, I guess the grandfather, the one that actually gave my father the job at West Point in 1960, and then my father brought in Chaplain Easterling, so without your buddy's grandfather, I wouldn't know Easterling kids, which I love. Anyway, Brendan worked with Jerry, and he worked at the same firm for many years, and he would always bring Jerry home to Mike after work parties. I'm not making this up. The day before Mike went to the hospital, we were telling Brendan funny stories, laughing, and Mike talked about how much he admired him. And Brendan's going to read a blessing of death.
I actually grew up on his shoes. One of our parks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to read this. I cannot get over this picture. I will never, ever, ever be able to forget it. That's Mike, that's all that he meant. That is such a great smile, and the excerpt from Anna Cara is no better typified than that book. So please take a look at this and consider it as I read this. A Blessing for Death by John O'Donoghue. I pray that you will have the blessed of being consoled and sure about your death. May you know in your soul that there is no need to be afraid when your time comes. May you be given every blessing and shelter that you need. May there be a beautiful welcome for you in the home that you are going to. You are not going somewhere strange. You are going back to a home that you never left. May you have a wonderful urgency to live your life to the full. May you live compassionately and creatively and transfigure everything that is negative within you and about you when you come to die. May it be after a long life. May you be peaceful, happy, and in the presence of those who really care for you. May your going be sheltered and your welcome assured. May your soul smile in the embrace of your Anna Cara. From the Anna Cara. Very much.
Nadia, are you here? Come on up. Mike called you Nadia. And they were twins. You want me to read this? Okay. They were twins a lot like but looked like opposites, like Arnie Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. There's a story around this song after he came out of an operation, he was happy he got through it, that this song popped from his head. Daddy will lead you in from Good Morning Sunshine.
So if you are at a table, there are between index cards with the chorus of the song. But this is what Mike wrote about the song. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mike wrote Saba City Saba on February 17th of 2013. As I lay on the recovery table, the song Good Morning Starshine filled my mind. I hummed it and sang it, and hummed it and sang it, wondering if people in the hall could hear me. Not that it mattered, I could not hold it in. I'm hoping that if the pain isn't too great, and if I have any brains left, I'll hum and sing it on my deathbed. My loved ones sing it with me. Tuli Uliwala, Nuli Avanava, early morning singing song. Now that would be a send-off. Just so you know, I'm not a singer.
Got it, Ned. That's stop you.
But as Jerry told me last week, it's not about me. Good morning, stars shine. The earth says hello. You twinkle above us. We twinkle below. Good morning, stars shine. You lead us along, my love and me, as we sing in this early morning singing song. Everyone. Click, clop, loopy, dippy, happy, doopy, la 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 lo lo. Saba, sidi, saba, doopy, saba, naba, dippy, lo lo.
Early morning.
Doopy, doopy, wala, doopy, saba, naba, early morning singing songs. Good morning, starlight. There's love in your skies, reflecting the sunlight in my lover's eyes. Good morning, starshine. So happy to be my love and me as we sing it. This early morning singing song. Clearly cloud gloomy, nibby nabby newbie, la 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 lo. Saba sibi saba newbie aba naba, lele lo lo. Ubi ubi wala newbie aba naba, early morning singing song. Mike had a nickname for me. My name is Nidia, and this nickname for me was Nadia. And that came about because I was explaining to him how people didn't understand whenever I told them what my name was. They would always get tripped up about my name, and I would have to explain it. It's like Lydia, but with an N. I did it about 5 times tonight. So I was like, we're going to call you Nadia. And I said, yeah, that sounds kind of cool and kind of Russian, and I like it. Yeah, I'm serious, so that's how I came to be Nadia.
This is Let It Be You, reading by Jerry and Jackie. And Mike's favorite sister-in-law from Arizona, was Jackie. And he called her Gypsy? Gypsy, okay. Come on up.
Okay.
I'm one of the favorites, not the favorite. Just want to clear that up. But I recently, on many of my trips to New York, many of our trips together as a family, but my most recent was in February, and I was actually here for Valentine's. So I told Mike, you have 2 Valentines this year. And he chuckled and he said, yeah, I'm so lucky. And anyway, one of my favorite things to do with Mike was Jerry would sleep usually till 9 or 10. So Mike and I in the morning would have coffee. And in the morning, that was our time to talk. And this particular morning before I left back to Arizona, I said, Mike, why do you call me Gypsy? You called me that for such a long time and I didn't know where he got it from. And so I think he was going to tell me, he cocked his head to the side and he looked at me. He said, because you're a gypsy. And that was his answer, so I'm waiting for Jerry to go through his stuff, and maybe he wrote down somewhere why I had that nickname, but anyway, here we go.
Well, I've gone through thousands and thousands of his writings. Some of you have it on your tables, and I discovered so much about my life that I thought I knew. And so his writings have opened another part of him to me. So I hope you have a chance to read some of the things. And the photos, the writings, they're there for you to read, but the photos you can take if you want to take any, those are extras. When Mike, I feel very grateful that I knew him for 42 years. And I try not to be angry at God for taking him from me. But I say in the same sentence, when I'm mad at God, that I'm grateful for the 42 years that I had with Mike. And that I wish he had given me, or she, would have given me 10 more years at least. But that wasn't to be. But I did have this memory, the last in the hospital. I was able to be with him and hold him when he took his last breath. And that's something I'll never forget. And I've been carrying around this poem by Sarah Teasdale. I don't know if you recognize the name, but this was actually 45 years ago that I read this poem. And I kept it, and I gave it out. I sent it to people, widows, widowers, because it really made a difference to me. And I'm going to read it to you. And I think I can get through it, but Jackie's here to help me. So the main title is Let It Be You. Let it be you who lean above me on my last day. Let it be you who shut my eyelids forever and ever. Say good night as you have said it all of these years, with the old look, the old whisper, and without tears. You will know then all that in silence you always knew. Though I have loved, I love no other. like that. There are a few friends of mine that couldn't make it. And one of them is Dina Pelotis. She fell and broke her wrist. And then she had another problem. And she was going to make homemade Greek cookies for us. And she's been a terrific friend to me. And keep her in your prayers. And also, I have, you're going to, please bear with me. Because, okay, let me see. All right. So, Mike and I had a ritual every night. He went to bed first at 11:30. I usually went to bed around 1:30. And he would go to bed and I would cover him and we would say our prayers. And everyone in this room just about have been in our prayers. And so this is gonna take like 3 minutes, but bear with me. These are the people we've been praying for. And I want you to think about them and their names, and maybe you'll put them in your prayers. Chuck and Becky, Carrie and Bob, Jackie and Rocky, Susie, Lawson, Scott, Jim, Sandy and Shirley, and all who suffer with dementia and Alzheimer's, Dina and Valerie, Nydia and Frank, Nettie, Tracy and her dad Marty and her mom Jenny, Jody, Katrina, Mark, Baby, Edie and Nikki, J, and Jay, Yusuf and Sadeh, Bonnie, her eyes, hip, Diana and her upcoming surgery, widows and widowers, especially Rachel, BJ, Linda, Denise, Chuck, Chipwood, Nubs, Marcy, Peter and the Ford family, Al, cousin Christopher, Julie, Aunt Lucille, rest in peace, Uncle Bill, Lorna and family, Patrick, Jerry, Caitlin and husband, Thomas, Kelly, Young, Patrick, Polly and West Point, Bernie, Lupe and the boys, Dwee, Adam and Eve, Jesus, Guadalupe, Pep and Darla, Kathy and Sparkle, David, Faith, Daniel, Andrea, Quinn and family, Joy, Eddie and Dominique, Beverly and Julie, Pam, Fisher, Barry, Aki's mom, rest in peace, Bumio, Alice, President Zelensky and the Ukrainians who have lost loved ones and homes, also Thailand, earthquake people, Gaza, Palestinians, Israelite, Jewish around the world, peace, all unlawfully imprisoned people and Israelite hostages, set them free, migrants and homeless find a home, all war correspondents, reporters, David Diagata, Holly Williams, David Bignell, keep them safe. The nurses and doctors and EMs, aides, give them safe travels, all who have traveled here. That was newly put in. Mikey Boy, Cameron, Gray, Mike, and me. And we used to say, just to cover everybody, 222, which was all the Mikes, people that have in heaven. 333 were all my people in heaven. 444 were all the living people. 555 were Mike's living people. So I say, and every night I would kiss him goodnight. I would say goodnight, my love. And now I say, I miss you, and I can't wait to join you. So those were my prayers, and I pray for the people that couldn't make it today. And that's Dina and Molly and her husband with Parkinson's now. And so keep praying because it comforts and helps, and please keep me and Mike in your prayers. So at this point, and Scott was in our little wedding party on Riverside Park. And his dad, I didn't know this at the time, or I didn't know this until I went through his papers. Mike loved Stairway to Heaven, and he had his son play that when we got married. And I came downstairs from Riverside Park and to get, and Peter's father married us. And that was special too, because we loved your dad. Thank you for all who came so far from Texas, from Connecticut, from California, Arizona, Virginia. Thank you. Did I leave a state out?
South Carolina.
That's right. Okay. Thank you for coming. I love you all.
Short version. And Dad's flying Stairway to Heaven.